The war continues to spread like wildfire across the world, with most of the conflict occurring in Eastern and Southeastern Europe. We see the Germans, the Austrians, and the Russians trading blows back and forth across the Eastern Front, and it seems to be that the Russians have suffered the worst of it as they've ordered full-scale withdrawal from Lithuania, Poland, Western Ukraine, and even Romania saw some shuffling of troops out of that territory. It's in dire straits for the Russians, but they've decided to exchange space for time, and time is something of an essence, and if they can preserve their armies, then they are in good hands. The French, on the other hand, have decided to press in an attack, or press in a large portion of the forces in Lorraine. Seeing that the Germans are flanking them from the north through Operation Schlieffen, they've decided to themselves also flank the German forces by a march into Alsace. We shall see how that works out for them, as it leaves the Germans in a bit of a quandary as to what to do. The French have also decided to support their ally in the form of Britain with a strong naval presence in the British Islands to hope to scare off the German Navy back into their home waters with, I believe it will be, some level of success. The British themselves are struggling to re-emerge on the scene and in some significant presence with the Royal Navy, as the first season was quite devastating towards their fleet all across the globe. The Germans and the Austrians have collectively wiped out the bulk of their fleet, the home fleet, the Canadian fleet, the fleet in the fleet squadron in the Mediterranean, and the Australian fleet were all taken to the bottom of the sea. The only one surviving is the one off the Indian Ocean, leaving the British in a pretty difficult position, seeing as their empire is one that spans the entirety of the globe. The absence of a fleet is quite punishing for their forces. The Italians have set themselves up for an attack against the Austrians, and so the Austrians are left scrambling, and they push their forces to Dalmatia to at least hold on to one territory against the formidable Italian presence now in Venetia. Apart from that, the Austrians have been doing quite well, cleaning up Serbia, acquiring Bulgaria, and looks like Romania is going to be in their hands quite shortly as well. The Ottomans are themselves not doing too terribly. Having almost grabbed hold of Arabia, they are at least absorbing British attention in their Middle Eastern area. And with them being considered the sick man of Europe, there's limits to what the Ottomans can do regardless, but that is the state of affairs on this theater. The German presence in the Pacific has been somewhat of a thorn in the side of the British nation, leaving only Japan as the strongest power in the Pacific to challenge whatever German colonial power is still present there. It is proving to be a bit of a thorn in the side of the British, as the German forces have picked up, French Indochina and look to be marching into Burma. If my reading of the situation is correct, Burma is open. And apart from that, things are looking quite well for the Central Powers at this stage, although the war is still early and the German advisors to the Central Powers have stated that this war must be won quickly because a prolonged war will favor our enemies. We have the military advantage, but the economic advantage will slip us into the final position, the last place in this conflict, into the defeated role, as the Entente Cordiale's income is something to the tune of 145 IPCs to the Central Powers 90 IPCs. So an income disparity that might be a little bit hard to challenge in the long term of things. Welcome all to Operation Tannenberg. My name is Jinx, and my apologies for the somewhat longer videos. I know some of my opponents' videos and allies' videos, some of their videos are 3 minutes at the smallest amount. So I can't do that. I want to make a little bit more of a show to that, and I hope that's okay with you guys. Hopefully you can skip to the 5-minute mark and kind of see where things are unrolling. I think after this, I'll put in the description the point where the action actually begins to start. But apart from that, I think I'll just dive into the turn as it is now. So we have some money to spend here. We have 55 IPCs, 1 submarine, 2 aircraft, 2 research tokens, and we have here 9 infantry coming onto the board. Let's roll for our technology because that might impact some of our planned battles. So we have here 2 dice and another 2 dice as well, with successes at 5s and 6s. 1 success, that means we take off 1 of our dice, but our subsequent will still have a research roll on the next round. So let's see what that success is. Statistically, it should work out to about 1 success for every 2 dice rolled. Well, for every 3 dice rolled, 1 success. So the probabilities were with me of 4. Now, I actually don't remember what 4 is. My hope is that it is, I was hoping it was trenchworks and barbed wire. Unfortunately, it is not trenchworks and barbed wire. It is a machine gun, which I shall not look a gift horse in the mouth either. A machine gun is quite a lovely little thing to have as well. But I only have 1 more token. This is the last token I have. So I'll need to buy 1 of those. And I actually haven't planned out whatsoever where I would put this on the map. Perhaps the best place for them would be on the Western Theater, as that seems to be the a theater of most concern to us. I think I shall put them in the Western Theater. I'll temporarily put it here, as we later on I'll adjust a few things on the map. Actually, you know what? I could only have one per territory if memory serves, so I can't put that there. Nor, I believe, can I add units to the map either. So, you know what? I think we'll simply have to put them out here on the Eastern Front. Let's put them out in Galicia as we tie some units to that. And hopefully we do some damage against the enemy there. All right, let's get started with our Pacific Theater, because that seems to be the somewhat simplest. From French Indochina, we're marching a unit into Burma, giving us 1 IPC there. From this fleet parked in Zone 50. So actually there was some confusion because it's supposed to be in 48, but ultimately I don't think it matters too much because the income gained would have been roughly the same anyways. Although perhaps, you know, at the end of the day, I just decide not to bother people with the change of it. But anyways, coming from this C-zone, they're going to come to this C-zone here. C-zone 59, we're going to pick up an infantry on the way. We're going to drop all 4 of these guys in German New Guinea to that position. Oops, a little bit off the map, to that position right there in C-zone 59. We're also going to join them with these 2 transports as well. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You know, I'm actually going to send a different direction. 1, 2, 3. We're going to see if we could push this fleet out of position with threatening them with our forces. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I think we could do something along those lines. And in fact, we could also do some convoy raiding from this position as well, hitting all 3 of those territories. So I'm pretty content with that. That's going to do us okay. Yeah, 4 ships there. I think that'll be all right. We didn't pass through any minefields. I don't think our opponent could hit us here either. So I think we're going to settle with that. Yeah. I think we'll settle with that. I'm pretty happy with that situation. All right, so that takes care of that. You know what? We're going to actually send these 2 transports this direction as well. Yeah, okay, that's what we'll do. Send these 2 transports in this direction as well, meaning that these units here stay in their respective positions. And there's that. Yep, we'll settle with that here, leaving a sizable force to threaten our enemies. All right, moving on from that, let's look at the African theater and see what we can resolve here. So from German East Africa, we're going to send 1 unit to Rhodesia to capture this territory. It's simply a walk-on. And from British East Africa, we're going to engage the enemy here, leaving 2 with only 1 infantry with machine gun and 2 artillery here. But we're going to refresh those units with a couple of infantry built in that area. From French Equatorial Africa, we're going to go Anglo-Egyptian Sudan, attempt to capture this territory here. And then from over here, we're going to send a unit to... We're going to send a unit back to... We're going to send this unit to Togoland, and this unit's going to back up here to Togoland as well. I think that's the best course of action. Actually, you know what? From Nigeria, we're going to back up 1 space to Cameroon, hoping to threaten the forces here in Belgian Congo. Perhaps that's the best course of action. All right. So that's what we're going to do. I know that means that these French guys can bypass our forces and do some damage against our interior lines, but nonetheless, we're going to go that direction. All right, now we take a look at our navy here. The Canadian fleet, 1 of the subs is going to stay there. The other one's going to come to C-Zone 15. And apart from that, we're going to look over here and engage these forces here in C-Zone 19, that cruiser, and we're going to attach 1, 2, 3, 4... 2 Zeppelins going into that fight as well. I don't have the right pieces, guys. That looks horrible, but that's the best I can do. The rest of the fleet's going to come back into home waters and hope to repair that dreadnought. Now, we're going to save... Well, we're going to do the Western Front now, I think. Yeah, we'll do the Western Front now. I think that would be the best course of action. Yeah, so on the Western Front, we move everything in Rhine Province into Belgium. So that's 4 artillery and 3 infantry. This might have been messed up. There's a slight accident. And 3 infantry are going to come down to Picardy to engage this French unit here. From Alsace, we're going to send in 3 artillery and 10 infantry up to Belgium as well, leaving us with a formidable force here to threaten our enemies. And perhaps we can still progress with a dash towards Paris as our opponents dash towards Berlin. Speaking of Berlin, we're going to rail these 2 units to Bavaria, I think. Yeah, Bavaria will be a good spot for them. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. Move into Bavaria. And on the eastern front, we've got some action we want to conduct as well. So we're going to move everything from Galicia is going to engage Romania. So 4 infantry, 3 artillery, and a fighter. And then from Silesia, 4 cavalry, 2 infantry, and 2 cavalry are going to go into this position as well, hoping to tackle that enemy and hit them with dastardly force. From East Prussia to Lithuania, capture that territory, and the rest of this force, which is make that 17 infantry, plus these 5 infantry, I believe it is 5, march into Poland to present a considerable threat to the enemy. And then, of course, we have our artillery there, 7 artillery coming to this position as well. That's the hope, that's the dream anyways. We'll see how it pans out for our forces. And I think that's it collectively across the map. Yeah. The only change I'm going to make is these units here that came to Bavaria, they're actually going to rail here to the Rhine province so as to be able to reinforce Belgium or to move down to Alsace. Let's start with some battles. First of all, British East Africa here. We're looking at 1 roll at 3 for the attacker. 1 roll at 3 or less, 2 or less rather, and the defender at 3. So we've lost an infantry in British East Africa. Unfortunate. Let's look at the next battle occurring. We're going to go for... I don't think there's anything in this theater that we need to worry about. We're going to look at... Well, let's look at this battle here. First, the sea mines for that submarine. So on a roll of 1, we would lose a submarine. 3, success. Alright, now our 2 Zeppelins attack. I'm assuming that cruiser is going to go in scouting mode, so it's going to be at 2. And if not, we'll adjust for that. Miss, and our 2 Zeppelins... Well, first our submarine. Miss, and our 2 Zeppelins. 1 hit. So that's all we needed. We've taken off this little guy off the board and managed to survive. Managed to wipe out whatever the British pulled onto the map here. And these 2 Zeppelins will land in... Well, they'll barely land in Belgium as they completely begin to fall apart. Alright, and let's do our battle in Picardia. So we have 3 infantry rolling at 2 coming into that fight. Not a single hit. And our opponent rolls 1 at 3 with a hit. So good on them for being for managing to take out our unit. Well done. Alright, I didn't expect that. I was hoping for a success here or there. And I believe that is it, except in Galicia. So keep in mind, we have now 3 of these infantry are going to be with a machine gun coming to that territory. So I don't know if we get a +1, if we could match up with that. So we're going to roll our machine gun separately. So we have 3 infantry. I'm going to make a slight change. Because we had that machine gun, I don't need to... I think it'll make it a little simpler if I just keep an artillery back and have one of these infantries come in there as well. That way I can support all our stuff without having to think about things too much. So I have 4 artillery, I got 4 regular unsupported infantry, and I got 3 machine guns. So let's roll that out. We have to keep in mind we have a fighter as well. So fighter would roll at a 2 on the attack. So let's roll for the 2 on attack first. Miss. Alright, so the 3 machine guns with support, that's, my belief is that's 3 at 3 here. So 2 hits. Okay, and then we have 3 artillery, make that 4 artillery at 4. So 3 hits, and I believe that's it for the enemy, but let's just double check, because we have 4 infantry at 3 with 1 hit there. So by my count, that's 6 hits. Our opponent seems to have 6 hits, 5 units here, so I think we've got him. But we get to roll for his response in this battle. So let's see what that is. So he's got 5 at 3 with 2 hits. So undershot by a little bit. We'll take off 2 of our units here, and we're going to hand this territory to the Austrians and line up our forces here. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that situation. So we have Romania now in the hands of, that's the wrong color, now hands of the Austrians. And I'm going to increase their income by 3. 1, 2, 3. And the Russians have lost a bit of territory. They've lost in Poland $3 worth. And in Lithuania, they also lost $1 worth there. We didn't march into Western Ukraine, as you guys may have noticed. So the Russians have gone down by 4. They were at 35, I believe. I just took it off the map, so I don't remember. 1, 2, 3, 4. I believe I have them at 31 now. I'll have to do a count later on. And I do believe that about does it in that theater. Yes, I do believe that about does it. I feel like I'm missing something somewhere. Okay, let's adjust the German income. So we went up by 4 there. Make that 5, 6, $6. $7. $7 total. So we've gone, Germany goes from 45 to 52. 52. And I do believe that means that the British go down by $3. Yeah, $3 down for the British. I think, I could be way off at this point. All right, so that takes care of that, I believe. Yeah, that takes care of that. So I'm going to do a tally up of all my stuff on the board here and count. Oh, let's put some units on the map. So we have, in Bavaria, we're going to put down 3 infantry at that major city there. In Rhine province, we could put 4 units down. So we're going to put 2 aircraft here. And that leaves us with 2 infantry we could put down, leaving us in hand with, okay, let's, so I have 6 in my hand. And so I'm going to put this down here, leaving us with 4 we could still put on the board somewhere. 4 on the board. All right. 4 on the board. We'll just put those in Brandenburg, I think. Yeah, that's about it. 4 in Brandenburg. And then we have a submarine we're going to put in these waters here. And then I think that's it, guys. I think that's it. So now we go to collect income phase. So I'm at 52, but we also collect for Belgium. So that's 54. And then Africa. So 54 plus we have 54 plus 5 leaves us with 59. $59. 59. I'm sure we can reach 60 here momentarily. Okay, now let's look at the African theater. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 5. So that leaves us with $64 to spend on the subsequent turn by my calculations. 64, not too bad. And we have a research token available for the next turn as well. I'm pretty happy with that situation. I think that will do us okay. All right, guys, thank you all for watching. If you see something I missed, and I'm sure I have somewhere, I feel like something somewhere is a bit messed up. Now, this situation here might be different because people expected my units were here when in fact they were here. I did refer to that in my video there, but it was at the end of my video, not at the start. And so I don't know, we could talk about this to see where they were. In some cases, if it does need to, I could always move them to the secondary choice there. Thank you all for watching. Cheers.